Okay, when it comes to the computer, because we all use the computer a lot, I want to show you some of my best, what I consider the best computer stretches, and I'll tell you why they are the best, or why at least I consider them the best. Because they're going to start addressing the imbalances that you have in your body, because whether we like it or not, we tend to be on the computer too much, or we're just in this position seated, whether we drive a lot. But obviously we don't want to have our neck in forward head posture, so we'll keep it in a reasonably good position, but we still have to do things in front of us at the computer even if we are in good position. Now, what happens if you've been having this poor posture for such a long time is that your chest gets too tight. So these chest muscles get too short and weak. Now, what that does is brings your shoulders forward. So if you're in a forward head position, you can see what happens to my shoulders. As soon as I draw my head forward, my shoulders go forward and internally rotate. And a really nice way you can check this is with your thumbs, because when your shoulder blades are back and down, your thumbs will point forwards. However, when you go into a forward head posture, your shoulders then internally rotate and go forwards, and your thumbs will then point inwards. And this is a very nice way for you to check how internally rotated your shoulders are. Check your thumbs, and you'll probably find that they're rotated, which means we have to open out your chest muscles to bring those thumbs in better alignment. In other words, bringing your shoulders in better alignment. And you do this very simply by stretching out your chest muscles by standing in a doorway. So what you do, you put your arms up into a doorway and you just bring your body forwards into that doorway. And what you're wanting is a stretch through your chest muscles, not pinching in the back. So if you're getting pinching at the back of your arm and your shoulder, you may want to play with the level of your arms on that doorway. If that's still not working, what you can do is just grab one arm on the doorway, hand about shoulder height, and turn your body away from your arm. So you're still trying to get a stretch through here. And again, play with that hand height a little bit, just so that you don't get pinching. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. You're going to hold this for a good 20 to 30 seconds either side to get a stretch through here. This will help to bring your shoulders back. Now, one of the big problems with this happening is that your shoulder blades then start to lift up and round around your back. So these muscles get too short and weak, and the muscles between your shoulder blades, they get too long and weak as well. So we need to get our shoulder blades not doing this anymore. We need to stop them rounding, coming back and down. That feeling of your shoulder blades going back and down. And we do this in a very simple exercise. Palms up, put your elbows against your ribs, stand tall, bring your palms together like this, or your hands together. And what you're doing with your chest up, keep your elbows on your ribs and bring them out as far as they go. And hold for a second when you get to that point. What you're wanting is a feeling of your shoulder blades squeezing together and down when you're doing that. 10 repetitions. When you come out, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Don't lift your shoulders up. Make sure that you're keeping your shoulders down, so your shoulder blades are feeling those squeezing down together. That's going to then strengthen those muscles between your shoulder blades. So we've opened out here and got those muscles between your shoulder blades in a much better strengthened position. Because if you do not, you are in a high risk category for getting rotator cuff impingements and tears, because for the simple reason, when you're like this, when you try to lift your arm, you can't take it any further than that. When you bring your shoulders internally rotated, when you try to lift up, they don't, because there is a bone-on-bone collision here. Now, if you're in good position, you can lift your arm up, no problems at all. The problem is, most people aren't this far forward, but they're not back far enough either. So they're halfway in between. What happens is, you're lifting your arm up all day, cleaning your teeth, brushing your hair, scratching your head, getting glasses out of the cabinets, And unbeknownst to you, you're mashing those tendons each and every time. Not enough to cause you pain each and every time, but after a while they will degenerate, and then suddenly, kind of out of the blue, you have a rotator cuff problem. So it is absolutely vital that you fix your shoulders by getting your chest stretched out and getting those scapulars back and down through the chest stretch and also through the I've got no money exercise. That then fixes the imbalances in your upper body. Your lower body also, in particular your lower back, needs to be addressed. Because we sit all day, the majority of us, either driving or at computers, our hip flexors, they get too tight because we're sitting all the time. So what we need to do, and this will help your lower backs enormously, is start stretching out our hip flexors. And that is done by doing the lunge stretch. Now, the first thing you need to do is put your front foot forwards. Now, don't allow your leg to go too far forwards. You want your shin to be vertical. Then you take a step backwards and keep your hips in alignment. Make sure your back foot does not turn outwards. It should be facing forward. Now, your hips are in alignment, your knee is over your ankle, and your back foot is facing forward. Everything is parallel. Your hips do not splay out like this. Bring it in line. The next thing you need to do is just pelvic tilt. So you want to try and tuck your tailbone underneath you. When you do that, you should get a feeling of stretch through the front of your back hip, through the front of this thigh. You're going to do that 20 to 30 seconds. This will then counteract that sitting by starting to extend that hip. You would do this both sides. Foot forward, take a step backwards, knee is over your ankle, hips are in alignment. One of the big problems people do with this is they arch their lower back. No, you tip that pelvis as if you're lifting your belt up, using your abdominals to get a stretch through the front of your back leg, through that thigh. That will again address those problems that you have with your lower back from excessive sitting. And they are the three, what I find most important stretches and exercises that you need to do from chronic sitting that we have these days.